Let's now get the perspectives of Kabir Akingbolu on the task ahead of these new cabinet members. He's a lawyer and also a political affairs analyst. Good evening to you, Mr. Akingbolu. Thank you so much for joining us on Politics Tonight. In the last few months, Nigerians have clamored for a rejig of the president's cabinet. Nigerians were saying the ministers were not living up to expectations. 7 new ministers have now been screened and confirmed. Was that what you expected?
Well, you see, Nigeria, the greatest problem that we have sometimes is that I think we are not patient enough. And I want to say, I'm not saying everything is well. Things are very rough. Things are not okay. Welfareism of the people is at the lowest ebb and very poor and, beyond all time, poor. But then, is it enough? Is 1 year enough to rate the performance of a minister, or the performance of a governor, or the performance of a chairman of a local government? Out of 4 years, no, 1.5 years. And again, when you are calling for changing of baton, or changing of, minister, or the appointees and all that, that is not what it's supposed to be. Changing can be good. Now, you don't just say change. Measure the people that are not performing and let us know. And I can tell you, from the look of things, even from all the people that we see out there now, out of the 45 or 40-something of them that were appointed then, I think only about 2 or 3 are visibly seen to be working. You understand? So if you are removing some other people and bringing other people in, it's not a matter of just, add and drop. We should be able to know their worth. We should be able to know what they are bringing on board. And, sometimes it may not be possible if you are not determined to make things change. Because in sociology, nobody can grow beyond the society in which he has found himself. If the head is sick, the whole body will be sick.
So are you saying the president should have given them more time? Or should he just replace the over 30 others who are not basically...
No, not that. You replace those who are not performing. You understand? But then, when you look at it as a whole, I have not seen what these people that have been removed, I have not seen what they have done, the others have not done. I think I have not seen any spectacular things that many of the ministers have done. You understand? To, to withstand, to justify. They are being kept. So it's just for to me, it's for the president himself to change, to look at his policy and look at how they can effectively drive it to change and better the lives of the people. Can the Minister of Education now propound a different educational policy that is different from the, the dream of the government? It will not work. Minister of Work cannot just wake up one day and bring out a policy that the president is not approving of. You understand? This is what I am saying. You are just a part of the whole, You understand? So you can't have your own idea. You can only work with the idea of the government. So this is the thing. So it is for the president himself to, these are our policies. But to me, I have not seen a blueprint that you can say, this is what you should follow. We have a lot of, what we draft for them. This is what we want the Minister of State to do. This is what we want Minister of Industry to do, and so on and so forth. None of them have been able to achieve 10 or 20% of them. So, but you can't place all the blame on the president himself because he cannot oversee all the ministries. He has to put people there. But the people that are there, what have they done? The Minister of Education, who was a seasoned educationist, we didn't see the effect there. There was strike almost every time. There was, strike was coming. And there was no end in sight. He was removed. Some other people are there. So these are the areas we must look at.
Some have said, the student loan scheme is one of the policies that have reshaped what the Nigerians thought the ministry would have done in the last 1 year. For some Nigerians, that's a lot. That's the significant impact
it is a lot.
on Nigerians,
it is a lot,
on
but
the ministry.
The student loan is going through a lot of administrative bottleneck. The accessibility is... it's not too easy.
Some Nigerian students are already accessing it.
You understand?
Access to it.
You understand? So it's a very good and fantastic idea. I must comment. It's not every time you just, the president is not doing anything. No. It's a well thought policy that needs effective execution. You understand? That policy, nobody can fault it. No reasonable person can fault it. Some people may not like it, you understand? But they should reduce the administrative bottleneck that makes it almost intractable or, unaccessible to some students.
So what's your assessment of the screening exercise? Because we heard Senator Baribo saying that this was the first time portfolios were attached to each minister designate, and it made it very easy for them to ask specific and technical questions.
Yes, again, that's a pass mark for the president. Although I think there has been a policy by the National Assembly, I think they mooted the idea that next when you are sending name, let there be portfolio attached. And I think for the first time the president is doing it. It's a very good one, because unlike what we used to have in the past, that it's just a blanket thing, 30 ministers, no role is assigned, no portfolio is assigned. You only come, you defend. People will only be guessing. Maybe it's Commissioner for Minister for Education, or Minister for Justice, or Minister for Works and all that. So, because in the last time, I think we have about how many lawyers amongst them, some are senior advocates. You're not only one senior advocate. The same thing happened under Buhari. About 3 or 4 senior advocates were there. Like under Tinubu, there we have Keyamo, we have the Honorable Attorney General for Justice now, Latifa Gbemi. I think we have the man for education, so some other people like that. So you don't even know who is going to be the Minister for Justice. So I think this is a perfect and nice one. However, the screening exercise, when you look at it again, you look at those men. Some of them are frail. Some of them are very old. We can see from the presentation. You are not seeing somebody who is talking with so much conviction. Is looking like an annual ritual or a common ritual where people will just come, let me just come before the floor of the house and speak and say this and that. And I know Dingyadi Wamako. Dingyadi was a seasoned politician. He contested for the governorship of Sokoto State sometime in 2007 against Wamako. You understand? He used to be in DPP then also. And he has some experience in politics. Right Honorable Yusuf is also a seasoned politician. And these people, yes, experience counts in all this kind of thing. If you bring them aboard, they can do something. And again, like Ojuku, was the Bianca, is also, I cannot call her a politician, so to say. However, he can be, I think he's a grassroots person who has contact, you understand? He's not secluded. Because you must, one of the problems that we have is that disconnect. People who are in power, they are disconnected from their people. People like Bianca Ojuku is well connected with his people. He's close to them. He's closer. With that one, he's a grassroots person. We can regard him as
because you've mentioned some names, let's continue from there. Let's talk about Dr. Nentawe Yitwada, who replaces Betta Edu as the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction.
Yes, you see. Yeah.
Please go ahead. Because I wanted to say, during the screening, we heard Senator Aline Dume reminding him of how his predecessor left that position.
That is very important.
Okay, so
you understand? I was going there. Now, that I wanted to say, the doctor has to be extremely careful. You understand? He must live above board like Caesar's wife. You understand? Because it's a ministry that has to do with the welfareism of the people. You understand? And given the antecedent, the first person didn't end well, the second person didn't end well. Look at him.
But it's about the ministry.
It's not really. It's because people are. It's not peculiar to that ministry. It's peculiar to the individuals that
because I'm asking because you're the second person who has said to me that the new minister has to be careful.
Extremely careful.
I cannot really understand what you mean or what you guys mean when you say the person has to be.
He has to be extremely careful because now when you look at it, it's more or less there will be more eyes. More attention will be shifted to that ministry because they believe, oh, this is already a jinxed ministry, or so to say. Some will be thinking that, oh, this ministry has some issues. Oh, there are so much money there that they can mismanage the way they like. You understand? So these are the areas that he has to be very careful. Otherwise, he may end up the way the other. Because many will be, there are more people who are ready to dig into the affairs of the ministry more than they will be interested in other ministries. It's not the only place. Let me set an example. EFCC is an example of it. In all the years that the EFCC has been established, I think 2002, all the chairmen that have occupied that seat, apart from Ribadu, only Ribadu left unscattered. The people that follow them, is it Dilamude, is it Farida Waziri, is it Magu, is it who? That came after them, all of them ended up unceremoniously. Another person is there. So the person also has to be very careful. So this is how it is done. You know, when it happened to Ribadu, he left unscattered. Those who came after him, the first person, you know, was not, was not spared. The next person was not there. I think the third person ought to be very careful.
That ministry is not a revenue-generating ministry. So what's
you say what?
That ministry is not a revenue-generating ministry. Why is there so much issue?
Humanitarian service? Because a lot of monies are pumped there. Don't forget that during the lockdown, a particular minister in that ministry said he was distributing over 6 billion or whatever, if not to people. He distributed food to students.
Without appropriate data to back it up.
There was not one of the problems, greater problem in Nigeria is that we have no data record at all. You understand? So when you say you are giving money to the vulnerables, who are the vulnerables?
How many
how many of them? Where are they living? You understand? Are they human beings or ghosts? There are no data to show the number of graduates or undergraduates in Nigeria, or the illiterate or the literate people in Nigeria, the male and female, and so on and so forth. We only work on guess figures. So this is a lot of problem. You understand? Because so that ministry itself is created. Like during lockdown, somebody said he was feeding the students. Who are the students that she was feeding? And nothing happened till today.
Because one thing Senator Ali Ndume emphasized on when he was speaking to the new minister is the importance of employing financial technology to ensure that the efforts of the federal government gets to vulnerable persons across the country. How crucial is this?
No, let me tell you. Can you build a house without a foundation? It is practically impossible. It's preposterous to commonsensical reasoning. This is because before you can talk about that one, you want to share money for people. You must have the names of those people. That is data. Gathering of data. Do you understand? We don't have it. So it's as if those
why is that a problem in Nigeria? Because the other time I was speaking with the Minister of Agriculture, and I wanted to know if there is data for original farmers, not political farmers, so that all of these interventions federal government keeps pumping into that ministry.
Most of them go to political farmers, I can tell you.
And it says there will be. And at this point, I'm not even sure there is data to back up. I mean, why even in Nigeria, when we say our population, we say is over 200 million.
We don't know the exact figure. One, lack of patriotism. 2, corruption. 3, nepotism and tribalism. That is all this jingoism. That's the problem we have generally. You are Yoruba man, you want Yoruba to get more than the Efik. You want the Efik. You are an Efik man, you want Efik to get more than the Calabaris. You are a Calabar man, you want the Calabar people to get more than the Hausas. It's not supposed to be. Let us do the things the way they are supposed to be. Do you understand? They have been doing census in Nigeria. I don't know. I'm not a statistician. But I know that there is no family, there is rarely any family in Nigeria that is not represented in Lagos, that doesn't have a relation in Lagos one way or the other. But then they will do census and you still see Kano having, more figures than Lagos. It's not possible. Despite their 44 local government and all that, they have landmass, agreed. But then, in terms of population, there is no how Kano population can beat that of Lagos. It is just not possible. But what have we had? Over time is what we keep on having. You understand? Now, because of lack of patriotism, let us believe. Like now, if Lagos, we have only been working on work. We do planning on guesswork. We do execution on guesswork. So there is not even any way to empirically, confirm whether this money meant for the humanitarian ministry got to the ultimate beneficiaries. It is completely impossible.
So you've talked about data. You've also said the new minister has to be careful.
Very, very careful.
Apart from these two critical issues, what should be his first priority? It's been screened, it's been confirmed.
Yes, I think the first priority, even if he's not going to even do anything at all, let him just say, okay, we want to have the number, the data. We want to have a database.
I think it's an ICT
vulnerables. That is the first way to start from. So that way, if he can do that, even if he's not able to, because Nigeria things will take a toll, you understand? And with that one, that will go up a lot of maybe the whole, with the way we do the typical way we do our things in Nigeria, maybe that process will go up the entire budget of the ministry for the year. Because I remember the other day, I think it's custom, they want to computerize the custom this for about $1 billion naira. You understand? You begin to ask, are the computers going to be imported from heaven? So these are the kind of things. So if it's going to get the database, let it be there, let it be appropriate, let it be accurate or near accurate. If he can do this, then if another person is coming tomorrow, then they can have something to work with. But as it is, any minister in that ministry has no data to work with, has no document to work with, has nothing at all, apart from that figure. Because when you are bringing a budget before the House, and you want to defend the budget, you must say, okay, this year we want to feed 10,000 students, we want to educate 20,000 students, we want to give light to 100 people, you have to have highlight them. In Cross River, this is what we are giving. In Sokoto, this is what the house number of all these people must be empirically verifiable. If it's not so, then we are just doing nothing. It will be movement with motion without movement. You understand?
I do.
We stay in the same on the same spot. We are just revolving. We're not getting anything.
All right. So if he has to go beyond board, let's say he wants to go beyond data. So what kind of people-friendly policies are you expecting from that ministry? From that ministry,
like for instance, the vulnerable people, we have to even define who are the vulnerable people. Persons. Because if you ask me now, I can tell you, more than half of Nigerians are vulnerable now.
At this moment.
At this moment. You understand? That is the truth of the matter. Because if a dollar is about 1,700 naira, $1 which is supposed to be like 1 naira. Supposing it's not like somebody using 1 naira to buy $1,700. That is what it looks like. So, and you say you want to be giving 70,000. And many governors are saying, no, we can't pay 70,000. The state will go bankrupt. Now, how do you want to? And somebody who is collecting 70,000 will have to buy rice, we have to feed the family, we have to pay house rent, we have to pay transport, and transport is cutthroat. Is cutthroat at this time that we are. So who are those vulnerable? What are the parameters to know the vulnerable people? These are the questions to ask. Without that being determined first, there is no how somebody can work. It's just like somebody going to farm without a farmer, not a political farmer now, going to farm without cutlass, without hoe, without anything. So this is the thing. The government, they have good intention. To have created that ministry is a very good ministry, fantastic one at that. However, how can the ministry achieve? So it is left for the minister that has just come in. One, he must be extremely careful. He must know that the fund meant for the ministry is not for gallivanting. It's not for frolicking. It's not for personal aggrandizement or enjoyment. It is meant for the people. But who are the people? The poor. But how do you determine the poor people in Nigeria?
Right. Thank you, sir.
I can tell you now, what they call the average people are gone. Is that you are poor or you are rich? There's no middle class.
All right. Mr. Akingbolu, let's go to break, and when we come back, we'll look at other ministries. Please stay with us, everyone.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates. For them, information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
School, I need students, but I need teachers.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices re-echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything.
If the tide is high, everybody run for safety.
Their tears leave a sweet, sour taste for all their demands. A familiar call beckoning for change. In our world, no one expects a disaster to happen. But when it does, we'll be there to x-ray all sides, from the east to the west, north and south. Community Forum will examine the oddities and challenges to economic development, as well as issues yearning for government intervention. Watch fresh episodes of Community Forum on Sundays by 9:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for staying with us. Tonight, Kabir Akingbolu is my guest. He's a lawyer and political affairs analyst. As we'll take a look at the task ahead of the newly appointed ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Akingbolu, thank you so much for staying with us on the program. Let's now talk about the Ministry of Livestock Development. There are some Nigerians who believe this would deconstruct the Ministry of Agriculture.
Yeah, it is true. You know, there is, it's very common in Nigeria when you have duplicity of roles, duplicity of ministries. Maya, the person who has been appointed there now, is going to be the pioneer minister. Again, it's a new ministry. It's a very fantastic move also. We must commend the president for, you know, at least dreaming about that ministry, because some people have this idea. Okay, Fulani people have done this, they have, you know, cattle rustling, you know, cattle destroying people's farms and all that. I think those issues could be addressed. The agenda before him should be how to tackle all those farmer headers clash. It's one of the areas he must concentrate on. And the idea of Ruga that was brought some time ago, and probably it could be reintroduced again, because, you know, Nigerians are funny. Now we are not having a Fulani president. Maybe they will understand it better that, because then they believe, oh, it's because Buhari was a Fulani man. Without being modern, I think, without being sentimental, I think it was a well-intended policy, you understand, by Buhari administration. But people misunderstood him, though, it's because of Fulani, they want to take our land. Now, let me tell you, and the question I've always asked people is, I am a proponent of Ruga. I believe it is a good idea. Do you understand? When you, I ask people this question that, okay, instead of having an area that is completely, you know, devoted to livestock farming, and people bring all their livestock there, they are safe, and they don't come out to come and destroy the people or you know, get the streets to be dirty. Which one? Or when you allow them to stray on the road, spoil people's farm, destroy plantation, which one is better? Is it not better to have a place where you give to these people to use for the purpose of this livestock or husbandry, animal husbandry? You understand? It is better. When you, yes, your land will still be there. If they take your land, they will compensate you. It's for development, for peace, for peace to reign. Because it will become.
Why do you think this is hard for people to understand? Is it political?
People don't understand that it's political and tribalistic. They believe, oh, it's because he's a Fulani man. That's why I made the mention of the father. Oh, the man that is there now is a Yoruba man. So if he's bringing such ideas, maybe they should understand. Maybe an Igbo man will understand it better. Maybe a Yoruba man will understand it better. And the Fulani people will always love it anyway. Because the incessant clashes of farmers and herders had reached, you know, it reached the nadir of utter hopelessness at a point. It was so disturbing. And, you know, it was nothing short of acrimony all the time, you know, because one, people don't like they have this maybe sitting animosity again, oh, because they want to take our land, oh, they destroy our farming. But now if there is a Ruga, if there is a place created for this purpose, you know, they won't come to your farm. You won't even see the cows on the street. This is one of the things that the minister must work on, how we can have a workable, you know, relationship between farmer and herder, and there will not be clashes all the time. And how we can make sure that, you know, cattle will not be straying to the streets.
Let's talk about livestock, which is a crucial part of agricultural value chain.
Yes.
You said it's a new ministry. So
yes.
what kind of opportunity does the ministry need from government to add, so the ministry can add critical value to our nation's GDP?
A lot. You understand? In those days, I think First or Second Republic, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, may the Lord rest his soul. I think he went, was it Brazil? He went outside the country to go and get a particular breed of cow that can, you know, that is much fertile than the one we are, than the local ones that we have here. Special breed for that matter to enhance the productivity in livestock. Do you understand? This minister can do that. You understand? Get nice breeds that are better than all this locally reared, and you know, some of these local cows will take like 3 or 4 years before they can become very big. Those ones will not. In a few months, They're as big as the one you have reared locally for 3 years. You understand? Yes, they'll be very okay and healthy. And when you talk about dairy production, dairy, like milk and some other things and all that, they can produce more. You understand? These are the things the minister should drive at, should make provision for. Let him, draw an agenda for himself to make the ministry work, because, he's starting from the scratch now. At least most of the ideas that he will be bringing will be acceptable, because nobody has been there before. So if he starts well, he's going to succeed a lot. But how ready is he? That is the question.
Does he look ready?
Yeah, he's not looking ready to me, because
really?
I'm telling you, because they look at their defense, they are just doing it as normal ritual. When you have defended project in school, you give facts and figures. You don't just come and talk. Apart from the woman that spoke last, what's the name of that woman, Suebat, whatever, who said I was a provost, I have done this. He gave some figures and statistics. That's how to defend. Now, as a minister of livestock, I believe I'll be able to bring in at least thousands of cows, heads of cows, heads of sheep, heads of goats, and so on and so forth. Birds, like chickens and the rest of them. There are a lot of things he can do there. We understand, but how ready is he?
So let's talk about labor and employment. Mohammed Magari, is that really a lot for him to do?
Yeah, that is a very critical sector as well, because you see this incessant strike from the minister of, from the ASU strike, you see workers, you see SANU, you see ASUP, you see NASU, you see SANU, and the rest of them, and all the no that you can see around.
Is it about the ministry?
Yeah, you understand?
Is it about the ministry?
It's not about the ministry. That is a very problematic area, because the labor union is an integral part of the development of the society, economically or whatever, from whatever perspective you are looking at it. So because of this, he has a lot to do. He should ensure that, there has been this allegation that the agreement of bargain between the federal government and ASU that has spanned over almost a decade now has not been perfectly implemented. That is one of the ways he has to start from. And some of them are talking about the arrears that have not been paid. And although I will not support an idea that somebody who has not worked will come and collect salary. You go on strike for 7, 8, 9 months without working. You are sleeping at home or going to your farms or do some other engagement.
And
the students, they are suffering.
For going on strike.
A student, we'll get there. Yes, we'll get there. A student that is supposed to spend 4 years, sometimes we spend 6 years. You understand? Are you returning that 2 years to him? Now, having not worked for 2, 3 years, for 8 months, 9 months, sometimes 1 year, you want to collect salary for them. Well, if they want to pay them, maybe it should be half salary or 1/3 or something. These are the modalities that they should work out. There is a provision in the labor, no work, no pay. It's also known in labor activities. So let him come to a term with them. Whether they are going to pay them, let him pay them. If that is what's going to be causing discord, then let him pay. If he's not going to pay, or they are going to agree on certain things, let them agree. But I'm sure the lecturer will not let go their money. So they should fine-tune, the modalities or arrangement for making sure that there is peace in that labor sector, so that there won't be incessant strike from people. And I remember the president during campaign said,
NLC is also there.
NLC is there, that students who will always finish their education at the appointed time. And this is one of the things before the labor minister. And the NLC is a very big chunk of the populace. He also must work with them. He must understand the workings of that system and ensure that the minimum wage, we have to be fine-tuned in such a way, because some people are proposing that minimum wage should vary from state to state. I think that may be reasonable at the time, somehow. But the argument of some people is this: we have a senator from Kaura Namuda, Nasarawa, what's the name of Zamfara State? We have from Yobe, we have from Maiduguri, we have from Ekiti, we have from Ogun State. When they get to National Assembly, they collect the same amount. So why will you not say a worker working in Lagos should earn more, because Lagos is a cosmopolitan city, but because one village is in Kano or Kaduna or in Ekiti, cost of living is low, so the wages there should be low. I don't think that idea may work with
the governors
people.
are listening to you.
You understand? I don't think that idea will work. There should be a national minimum wage that is enforceable across the country.
Let's talk about an appointment you have called appropriate, which is Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu, Minister of State Designate Foreign Affairs. She's a politician, a diplomat, lawyer, and according to reports, she became Nigeria's ambassador to Ghana and later ambassador to the Kingdom of Spain in 2012. You know, on one hand, President Tinubu continues with his drive to attract foreign investors into the country. First, how do you think this is yielding positive results?
Well, let me tell you, it will be difficult to get so much of a foreign investment in Nigeria. It will be very difficult, you know, because our economy is not it's not so healthy, and the projection of our GDP from the IMF is not also healthy. It's not helpful. They are not giving us positive projection. They are saying, even sometimes they said before we can get out of this mess, it will take like about 10 to 15 years and so on and so forth. So if you are saying that, who will not bring billions of dollars to come and invest in the economy? You understand? Most of the viable companies have run away. You see all the Dunlops of this world, the Michelin of this world, the Bata of this world, Berek Battery of this world, and so many, companies have run away. And you won't blame them because electricity. You can never plan any development, or no development plan can work without stable electricity. We are there.
Let's deviate a bit. How do you assess our electricity sector?
Yeah, the electricity sector is in a confusion. You understand? In a country that we are, that because you live in Magodo, you are a rich lady, I live in Atagigi, you will have 20 hours light. You understand? I don't want you to deny it. You understand? Oh, you claim me by faith, maybe. Now, because somebody lives at Ayege and someone is living in VI, at VI, somebody is living at Makoko, somebody is living at Ekpe. Now, so who are living at Lekki will be having 20 to 24 hours. Who are living at VI, will have 20 to 24 hours. Somebody is living at somewhere. You now designated them, into bands, A, B, C, D, E. I don't see. If you look at Section 116 of the Electricity Act of 2023, it said there shall be no discrimination in the distribution of power to the people.
Is that discrimination?
It's discrimination because you have it 20. Are you not in Nigeria? Am I not in Nigeria? We go to the same market. We attend the same church. We attend the same school. We ply the same road. We pay the same taxes. You are not having more light than I do because of the place. You are living in a privileged environment. I'm living in an underprivileged environment. It's discrimination for crying out loud. Only the rich people can stay at Ikoyi, can stay in VI. Not all of us can live there. Even if you wish, where is the money? So if you are living at Agege now, and they say you'll be having light between 4 to 8 hours because you are on band E, it is unfortunate.
So the issue of national grid, why do we continue to experience this, despite the huge amount of investment that's gone into that sector?
Let me tell you, when I read about national grid collapsing, sometimes I laugh. Most of the time, then recently I became sad when I listened. Just in 2 weeks, it has collapsed about 5 times. It's a lie. There are saboteurs there. People are sabotaging the effort of government. There are people who are making money from this process who do not want this thing to work. That is just it. How can grid be collapsing? Is it just a tissue paper? They are sophisticated, machineries.
Well, the minister said the grid is over 50 years and the components are failing. You see, and this is part of.
Do you know, under Obasanjo alone, $60 billion was spent on power. So they have not changed the components. The component of it. So what is that?
The monument for maintenance is too huge.
It cannot be too huge. Okay, are we saying Ghana don't maintain their own power? Burkina Faso don't, or where? Do you understand? The whole thing we talk about here, the Schiphol Airport in Netherlands, the whole megawatt that we have in Africa that we talk about, it's more, the one in Netherlands, in that airport, Schiphol Airport, is more than all the ones we pride ourselves about in the whole Africa. So if they can do it in one airport, why can't we do it here? We talk about 4,000 watts, we talk about 6,000 megawatts. At 21st century, Nigeria is 64 for crying out loud, and we are still here talking about national grid collapsing, and there is no end in sight. That's another problem. The other day I was reading a newspaper. That newspaper was 1981. They said blackout imminent in the country. So this thing has started, not yesterday, not today. So where are we? We are still here.
All right. Let's get back to the crux of our conversation.
Yeah.
Bianca's appointment. What are your expectations?
No, Bianca's,
considering her experience.
Yes, he has experience, and yes, I think with her experience and contact with those countries she has worked and represented Nigeria well, I think the contacts are still there for her to utilize. If well, utilized, I think it can be able. She should be able to bring in at least some investors, and she should be able to also rewrite or reshape the image of Nigeria somewhere, because experience does everything. Most of the things, if you are not experienced, you cannot do so many things. Well, being somebody who is at least a politician to an extent, a technocrat to an extent, or a diplomat to an extent, and with a wealth of experience to an exposure, I think she will achieve there. At least in those, he has worked in about 2-3 countries or so to say. So this is not a new terrain to her. It's a familiar terrain. She's not starting from the scratch. She's starting somewhere. You understand? She already knows what to do. Okay. She already knows how to start and what button to press to get certain results. So it will not be a big issue for her, and I think you should be able to, attract more foreign investment into the country.
Mr. Akingbolu, I know you're a lawyer, but when it comes to ease of doing business in Nigeria, how are we faring? Yeah,
we are faring well, because we have put in place a lot of legislation, a lot of statutes, laws, you understand, to make things easy for the foreign investors. We have put in place certain statutes that will guarantee their investment, that will ensure, you can, if you have invested, how much can you repatriate to your country, so on and so forth. We have made legislations to cover all this. So it's not a matter of mere policy or statement by the president or the executive of the country. It is, backed by law. So this is one of the ways that law has helped in shaping the development of the country economically. And again, it has further strengthened and enhanced the confidence of investors or would-be investors in Nigeria, you understand? So because they know, if I'm investing here, this is what I'm getting, and I'll be able to do this and that. I have free hand and so on and so forth.
So this is you saying Dr. Jumoke Oduwole would have it easy because she's the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investments and charged with supporting businesses to grow economically, especially in areas of investments, increase capacity for local industries, policies and programs that culminate in job creation, opportunities and trade investment across all sectors of small, medium, and large enterprises.
She won't be able to go far there too because of the, friendly legislations that are in place. However, I am afraid. Why? Because there cannot be industrial development or investment where there is no power. You need stable electricity.
Back to electricity.
Before some of these things can be done. Remember, during the time of Yaradua, he said he had 8-point development agenda. You understand? And power was one of them. When Sanusi Lamido Sanusi in his characteristic manner was asked in the floor of the House openly, he said, well, I have seen the president has 8-point agenda. He was to be confirmed the central bank governor. He said, I've seen that the President Yaradua had 8-point agenda, but that if I were the president, I will reduce it to only one, and that is power. And if I am to suggest also to the president today, if there is one policy he has to reduce something to, he has to reduce it to power. That is just it. Because now there's what they call, they don't call it subsidy, they call it intervention fund. They call it subsidy in oil sector, petroleum, diesel, and all that, But in power sector, they call it intervention fund. Federal government has removed it, but there is no country of the world where the country is not subsidizing anything. Go to Libya. Go to some of these, even African countries, you see they subsidize a lot. In America, they subsidize a lot of things so that people can be able to afford it. Because you say, we have removed subsidy, fine policy, I will never criticize government for removing it. But let it be backed up with friendly policy that will make the implementation to be.
All right. Let's talk about the youth ministry. Ayodele Olawande is now the substantive minister. At a point, many young Nigerians are despondent about the situation in the country. How tasking are the challenges ahead of him?
Yes, you see, the problem is that the youth nowadays, the youth that we have now, they are interactive. They are not easily, they cannot easily be, you know, they cannot easily be governed, let me say. You understand? Okay. What do you do that will impress them and all that? And again, from where do we have our own youth? Because most of the time, but give it to Mr. President. In fairness to him, the cabinet he formed initially has a lot of, you know, young people, you understand, to man different ministry, like Musawa, the rest of them, you know, like Edu and the rest of them that they brought on board. Fantastic idea, you understand. But when you say youth, how many of them, you understand? What are the programs, you know, for the youth? And like we say again, we'll go back to the same problem. What the data is not there for you to know how do we engage this youth, you know, meaningfully. How do you do that when you don't have data? Will you just go on the street and start picking people? You understand? There must be record. That Mr. ABC living at number CDM, so in Lagos or Abuja, was given so a month to establish a fashion designing outfit. You understand? In so year, you want to visit. Not something on paper. We like to do a lot of things on paper. So the Minister of Youth, we have a lot. He should be the connection between the conduit pipe between the federal government or between the government and the people. And people are expecting a lot from him.
But with this latest developments, we need to wrap up. But quickly, with this latest developments, I'm sure everyone else says that it's no longer business as usual. But how important is it that the president tightens up his KPAs and KPIs for the cabinet? Well,
you see, it's very important. You know, before you can work, the cabinets, you know, they are the basis. It's just like the material. You want to cook soup. All the materials must be complete. So if these things, if you don't dot the I's and cross the T's, you may run into problem. That is why you see no president will employ or will engage somebody he doesn't know anything about. And you understand? So he want to work with some people. That's why some of us outsiders, we may be thinking, oh, this person is not qualified. It's the president that knows what he has seen in him or her. Absolutely. Sometimes some people are appointed to cement the relationship of government and the people, or to, you know, neutralize some forces in a particular area, or to, you know, to build some things, maybe from tribal point of view, maybe from educational point of view, and so on and so forth. So those are the parameters looked at by the president. But some of us may not see it. So he has his reason for doing all this.
Absolutely. It's a great way to leave the conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Akingbolu. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. I was speaking with Kabir Akingbolu, a lawyer and political affairs analyst. Thank you so much.